Welcome back to Rubbin'minds. Now, you are aware that AI is literally taking over. Artificial intelligence has come and it has come to stay. If you're on the streets of social media, you've likely come across something that is AI that looks real, but it's not quite real. And some people will even label it AI generated, and that brings into question ethics. Where do you draw the line with AI and taking ownership of something that was created by artificial intelligence? A lot of questions around this when it comes to fake news, deep fakes, and some of the dangers as well as positives of artificial intelligence. Joining me for this conversation is an AI expert in the person of Abdul Samad Abdul Jalil. Welcome to Rubbin'minds.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
AI expert, like 10, 20 years, such did not even exist, at least going to school here. I mean, you might want to become a computer technician or an IT specialist, but we didn't realize that something like AI would come and have a whole industry around it. What does the future of AI look like to you in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years?
Okay, so let's start from what AI is, because a lot of buzz in the media right now is around generative AI. And generative AI is just a very small part of what AI actually is. So AI on the large scope is around having computers mimic human intelligence, things that humans need to make decisions on, having computers be able to do that. So with generative AI, it's focused on creating content, creating materials using AI. So in the next couple of years, we're currently in a space where we have what we call narrow AI models. They're able to do one task properly. ChatGPT can create content. You have self-driving cars that can drive cars. But we're looking at an AI model that can do almost everything the human can do. We're not there yet. It's possible that we'll not get there in the next 5 years, but that's the future that we're looking at, where AI or computers can carry out almost all the functions that human beings can do.
When you say all the functions, does that even include things like childbirth, for example, computers making egg and sperm and creating like a whole race of people?
Okay, so
is that the kind of future that AI can create?
Well, we're not going there. So basically, we're talking about things like being able to see, you have computer vision, being able to interact, you have natural language processing, that's communication and the rest of them. Automation, being able to do things. So that's the area that we're looking at AI doing decision making, deciding what to do next. Humans need to make some intelligent decisions around this. So it's that area we're looking at. It's not the human biological function now, but your interaction and the actions that you carry out. That's where we're looking at AI.
So you said something about self-driving cars. That's AI, right?
Yes.
And people are wondering that where do you draw the line? Where do you bring in ethics? Who's responsible for regulating how far AI can go? Okay,
so it's a very, very important part of AI. There are a couple of pillars of AI. You have accountability, you have ethics. So whatever AI model you're building, whatever company you're trying to do around AI, you have to consider the ethics. So for all of these models, for all of these companies that are doing things, it is a core part of the decisions that they need to make. And we have our governments of the world also stepping in and trying to put these measures in place. So we're not there yet. There's still a lot for us to see. There's still a lot for us to explore. But AI is a fundamental part of the discussions that we have at the very beginning. So we need to look at how do we take care of bias? How do we make sure that the data we're using does not favor a particular set of people? We're looking at AI in law. What if the data that the AI model is trained on is already biased towards some people, and we start to implement that? So these are foundational things that we look at when we're building AI models.
And I think the fear of a lot of people is that AI has come to take our jobs. You spoke about automation. You spoke about being able to do everything that a human can do, which includes jobs. Is that a valid fear?
Okay. So usually a lot of people say that AI is not going to take a job. somebody using AI would take your job. So let's look as far back as the 1400s when the printing press came in. And we had people that needed to write materials with their hand. And then the printing press came in. And at that time, people thought, oh, this is the end of it for those people. But we evolved, we transitioned, and we now have people making better use of those materials. So more people can write things and get them out there. We have the mobile phone. And when the mobile phone came in, it was, oh, is this the end of content creation? But now everybody is now a content creator. So it has not displaced the original content creators, but it has brought the accessibility down to every other person. Anybody can now be a content creator. And that's where AI is also going. So it's about giving you, empowering you with the tools you need to be able to do things faster, cheaper, better. And
it also means taking away some of our jobs. I'm a writer, and I don't get as many writing jobs anymore because someone can just go and do the writing, the editing, the proofreading, the layout. Maybe the only thing they can't do is publishing it. So that's 5 people's jobs that can be done by one person. So it is taking away jobs, isn't it?
Okay, so it's going to redefine some roles. That's what is going to happen. So we'll have new roles coming in. And I mean, you understand that when you're dealing with AI, you need to be careful about the output it gives you. So right now, we're going to see things like AI editors come in. Recently, I had a task. There was a project I was working on. And basically what we're doing is to make sure to correct AI predictions. It was giving us some images and you're just checking, is this correct? Is this not correct? Data annotation and the rest of it. So these are jobs that did not really exist back then. And they're coming into the limelight now. So as much as it might take up some writing jobs, it will create some new roles, some new gaps that need to be filled in that industry. So basically the idea is upskill yourself so that you're able to fill up those gaps that begin to creep up in your sector.
Now, I love the sound of new jobs. So it's about constantly innovating and being one of the first with the skills. But let's look at some of the downsides. People are using AI to mimic life. So you might see a video and it looks real, or you might hear a voice. Somebody calls you with a voice that sounds like it's a real person. Meanwhile, they've swindled you of money and the person says, oh, I never called you. So how do you as a person know which one is real, which one is not AI? In that moment when you are hearing what is your mother's voice, panicking, asking for money, what can you do to really differentiate between them? And that also brings up the conversation of deep fakes, where people, images are being used with AI to communicate things that don't align with their values.
Okay, so at the end of the day, it's a tool, and it depends on who uses this tool. When you look at social media also, I mean, you have fake profiles of some of these celebrities and the likes using to swindle people and the rest of them. But that does not stop us from saying we want to use social media. We are still on social media as much as these things happen. So right now, it might not be easy to distinguish some of these things. There are measures being put in place. You want to put some watermark on some of these things. And the underlying part is AI is still evolving. It's still not there yet. So you just want to be more conscious as a human being. Just try to find those little details that you're able to. It might not be easy to do, but I mean, we're not going to discard AI because of these constraints. We just need to do better as human beings because it's somebody that's taking that action. So it's the human part of it that we really need to focus on and not discredit the tool that they're using to carry out these actions.
You say the human, so who takes responsibility? I don't know if you're aware of like the Bobrisky issue with AI that was on the internet. In that case, what is Bobrisky supposed to do? You can't control people with what they're going to do with his voice, what they're going to do with his appearance. And when we find out that it was AI's fault, is it AI that's going to take the stand? Are we going to see AI in court, like taking responsibility, or is it the human behind the AI?
So, because who made that decision? Who decided to take that action? The AI model didn't just cook up these videos and this. Somebody asked it to carry out the action. So AI is the tool here, and it is the actor behind the action.
But AI is aiding and abetting, right? Like if people were caught, they'll say, oh, you were not the one who did it, but you helped to do it. That's what AI is doing, and aiding and abetting.
We would not put it as aiding and abetting. So AI is following, it's executing the task that you've asked it to carry out. So it is not the culprit in this case. It is the actor, the perpetrators that decided to follow that route. They could have decided to use any other means to create something, to blackmail people, to carry out these malicious actions, but they decided to use AI. So AI is the tool in this picture. It is not the one doing the action. We would get to a point when we get to that future where AI can make all of the autonomous decisions, then AI could become an actor. We could decide to start blaming AI for doing things. But right now, it's the humans that are asking it to carry out these actions.
So I want to know, is AI Nigerian enough? Can AI speak Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, all the plenteous languages, Ijaw, or are we behind with our Nigerian languages when it comes to AI? I mean, there's so many other languages, Robo, and Gas, and I could go on and on.
Okay. So an interesting fact, I had a friend recently who was yabbing ChatGPT, pardon that term, and at some point he had to hands out like, oh, I apologize for starting this battle because AI was giving it him more than he could receive. So
in what language?
In Pidgin and the rest of them. Yeah. So now behind AI there is data. Data is what powers all of our AI systems. So if we're looking at AI not being Nigerian enough, it's because we don't have those data systems in place. So, for example, I have friends that have wanted to do projects around Yoruba, large language models and the likes. And do we have enough texts in Yoruba to feed these models? Do we have enough videos in Yoruba to feed these models, in Hausa, in Igbo, in all of these languages? So do we have that data? Do we have the content that AI wants to learn from in order to be able to replicate all of these things? So it's about us taking that conscious decision that, okay, we need to create systems, we need to feed our data into these models if we want to be part of the conversation. There are people that are still skeptical around, oh, do I want AI to have my data? Do I want AI to know my voice, my picture, all of these things? And it's going to be a very long conversation, but we need to start somewhere.
Indeed, it's going to be a very long conversation, and we do have to be responsible when we're using AI. Thank you so much, Abdul Samad Abdul Jalil, for being our guest on Rubbing Minds.
Thank you.
Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show